Lil Wayne is apparently gearing up for a rap war with Kendrick Lamar. This is coming in from TMZ. Kendrick Lamar had a shaking my head vibes for Lil Wayne on his new GNX album, and according to Joe Budden, the Not Like Us rapper made the situation more tense by leaving him on red. The bombshell rumor was made on the new episode of the Joe Budden podcast. A little birdie told Joe that Wayne had hopped in the booth to respond to Kendrick's Wacced Out Murals bars after phoning him up, but never getting Kendrick to pick up.
I am hearing that somebody went in the studio after they heard this album. I'm hearing that somebody picked up the phone, tried to call and see what the energy was, and Kendrick didn't answer. If I'm calling you rapper to rapper and you don't answer, I'm going in the booth. You have until I get in that booth to hit me back.
Kendrick tackled Wayne's lack of Super Bowl love at the top of GNX. Used to bump the car to 3. I held my rolly chain proud. Irony, I think my hard work led Lil Wayne down. Won the Super Bowl and Nas, the only one to congratulate me. All these niggas agitated. I'm just glad they showing they faces. Quite frankly, plenty of artists, but they outdated. Old ass flows trying to convince me that you they favorite. The Joe Budden podcast and Mark Lamont Hill immediately began discussing Wayne's ability to even confidently beat K.Dot in a battle to begin with. Veteran MCs Cassidy and Bahamadia may have caught some strays in the process. Philly stand up. Wayne's purported response plays a lot better in Hot 97 host Peter Rosenberg's POV. He scolded Drake for dropping a lawsuit instead of dropping a response to Not Like Us. All right, man. This entire situation with Wayne has really upset me, kind of in the same way that it had for Kendrick. It's this idea that Wayne has been considered by many to be the GOAT or in the conversation, if the very least in Mount Rushmore, to know that not only as prolific and as talented as he has been for so long, but that he brought both Drake and Nicki Minaj, say what you will, one way or the other, into our lives, and so by extension has had essentially the number one spot like that since the late 90s, early 2000s, just like whether by him or one of his artists. So like, I am not saying that I'm anti the idea of Wayne feeling like if he's disrespected that he shouldn't get into a rap battle, but I am against the idea of when you listen to the lyrics, the only thing that he said was, I looked up to Wayne as a role model and it feels weird that I worked as hard as I saw him work, and apparently I disappointed him. And instead of congratulating me on it and still having your feelings, just kind of being in a situation of just like, man, that sucks. Man, that's awful. Which I've talked about this too as well. You can go and look at my previous stories about this. I think the other thing that people aren't taking into consideration is knowing how you get the Super Bowl in the first place. It's not just you know what, let's reach out to this person and see what they want to do. Absolutely not. It's the same way that you get the Olympics to come to your city/country, you get the World Cup to come to your country, you get the Super Bowl in general to come to your city and all that kind of stuff. You pitch it. You pitch it to the people putting on the Super Bowl. You come forth as an artist with, here is my catalog and my legacy and what I've done. Here's what I'm doing right now. Here are the things that I plan to do over the next course of these few months. And then what would happen after the Super Bowl if you were willing to give me the show, including what I plan to do for the show. It's a full pitch. Kendrick went with a pitch. Lil Wayne's team did not. So if Wayne didn't know about that, his team should have. This is not a secret for musicians. They know there is a certain threshold you have to be at as far as your career, and they know that you have to pitch that. Usher was not doing the Super Bowl in the sense that he is from Las Vegas when it was there last year. Usher actually went, and because he was looking, and he and his team were looking to kind of get that spot, part of their pitch was, and I'm signing up for a Vegas residency that I'm going to have for a while. So they'll synergistically go with each other, like all of that. Like even with Rihanna when she did it, it's the legacy of where she's been at that particular point. The fact that she knew that she was pregnant and she had many homages to that also was a big announcement to announce that she's pregnant with her second child and to sing essentially to her child with like Shine Bright Like a Diamond and all that. That's the type of thing that they'd be like, wow, that's actually really touching that you would use us as that moment to do that, let alone she had, I want to say within like a year or two prior, she had just hit her peak with Fenty, Savage Fenty, and become a billionaire and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of things that showed, yeah, Rihanna is really on top of this and like earned that moment. So like, that's the thing. Wayne did not present anything. This idea that he should just been given it because it was in New Orleans, it had been, like I've said this before, it's been in New Orleans for a bunch of times. So across the board, it rubs me the wrong way. The weird entitlement of why it wasn't given to me in New Orleans when you didn't do what was asked of you in order to get that job. The idea that if you're actually listening to the lyrics, and I trust Wayne more than anybody to understand lyrics. He's one of the most prolific rappers ever. To not hear that is exactly what it was. Kendrick just being genuinely upset that he somehow disappointed one of his people that he looks up to for doing a good job, for working hard. That's the shit that's wild to me. And the last little part, Wayne has admitted multiple times that he is not a good battle rapper. Like, Wayne's got bars. Like, let's not pretend like we don't know who Mixtape Weezy is and he doesn't have some of the greatest hip-hop songs of all time. But he has admitted that that is not the lane that he is really carved out for himself. That's not a skill set that he's insanely good at one way or the other. And we've seen him kind of lose a step in performance nowadays. Like, the stuff that he's getting on, like recorded things on tracks, he's still got it. Let's not do that. But like live stuff, that's where it's kind of like, damn, okay. Kendrick is in his peak. Kendrick may have just had one of the greatest rap years ever. Between the beef that just happened and Not Like Us at the number one as long as it was, and to then turn around and get the Super Bowl, and then to turn around and put that out this album, he has had one of the most incredible years in rap, period. I don't think you want to, like, this is a situation, honestly, after Goku, this will be a Dragon Ball Z-ass reference. After Goku slapped the shit out of Frieza, it was like, enough of your nonsense. And then Frieza came back as Mecha Frieza, brought King Cold over here. Now King Cold being like, oh, we gonna go kill this Saiyan. Nah, son, you do not want to mess with the Saiyan that just turned Super Saiyan and your level ain't up to that. You don't want to do it. It's just not a good plan. It's not. And K.Dot is still like itching for a fight, clearly. Don't do this. Please, Weezy, please. I love you, my guy. Please don't do this. And for people that clearly, like, I have been a hip-hop fan my entire life. There are actual rappers and people that do that have said something similar. Go listen to Screwface Gene. Go listen to a lot of folks that are like, man, I don't know about all this. Let's not do this, please. Let's not do this. But tell me what you think. Let me know down in the comments if you agree that this is not a great plan. Or you're like, nah, I want to see it happen. I want to see this go. Who knows? Maybe Wayne has been holding something in this entire time and he's really going to go for it. I want to know what you think in the comments.